And William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family.
Bosses at Netflix have been quiet about their ongoing partnership.
Netflix once made a gamble when they struck a deal with estranged royals. And now, the streaming giant has made its biggest royal gamble. It wasn't Meghan Markle they wanted this time. With millions on the table, their sights were set on the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton. But what followed was a royal masterclass in silence. Catherine held her ground, but Meghan's frustration grew louder. Was this the moment that changed everything between them? And who really holds the crown off camera? Join us as we unveil the surprise offer made by Netflix to Catherine that left Meghan fuming. The multi-million-dollar offer. After the infamous Megxit saga that saw Harry and Meghan leave royal duties in 2020, the couple made a 5-year deal with Netflix worth $100 million. Apart from the show, Harry and Meghan, that documented their exit from royal duties, the other shows didn't get as much reception. Now, after the lukewarm reception to Meghan's Netflix series, the streaming giant has reportedly decided not to renew the deal, much to Meghan's chagrin. What made it even worse was that Netflix turned its sights to a royal with real global clout, Kate Middleton. The executives were so serious, they offered a staggering $200 million deal. As to how they approached it, that's a different matter. The numbers were good, but anyone should know that to impress a royal, one needed to go beyond numbers, and Netflix definitely knew that. It was a carefully crafted pitch. The streaming company proposed everything possible, from a documentary on Catherine's charitable work to an honest talk show where she would share her journey both as a mother and as a royal. Literally, her own TV show. As if that wasn't enough, they added the idea of a guest role in a high-profile drama, and what they offered as salary was huge enough to rival Hollywood's biggest stars and make them climb over themselves for the role. Royal watchers say the deal was designed to showcase Catherine's grace while tapping into her global appeal. There was glitz, there was glamour, and there was Kate. But something about it all didn't sit right with her. This offer to her wasn't about money, nor did it have anything to do with fame. It was about her purpose. To persuade her, Netflix didn't just send a casual email and cross their fingers. That wouldn't be wise. So what they did was to organize an entire campaign, one fit for a queen. The effort to win over the amiable Catherine lasted for months. It was so grand it left even seasoned insiders stunned. As an experienced player in the game of entertainment, Netflix didn't come in all at once. They were initially discreet. Agreeer. It was a good move, but it yielded only polite acknowledgments, so they took it a step further. A team of top producers was assembled to craft pitches that were custom-tailored to Catherine's passions. One proposal was a glossy documentary series titled A Royal Heart, bringing her work with the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood into the spotlight, with every episode tied to a children's charity she supports like Place to Be or Action for Children. Another pitch offered a one-off talk show where Catherine could share her journey as a mother and advocate with global streaming proceeds donated to her causes. They even suggested a cameo in a lavish period drama, promising minimal time commitment and a paycheck that rivaled A-list stars. This was already more than what Netflix would do for anyone, but they didn't stop there. When the previous attempts yielded no positive results, they once again kicked it up a notch. Sources say they tried to arrange a face-to-face meeting during Catherine's 2024 visit to a mental health charity event in London, hoping to charm her with a personal pitch from CEO Ted Sarandos. Her team, however, gently rebuffed the idea, citing her packed schedule and ongoing recovery from her cancer diagnosis, which happened in the same year. That was enough to put anybody off, but not Netflix. Still undeterred, they reportedly invited a renowned screenwriter to write a letter, outlining how Catherine's involvement could inspire millions. But each attempt was met with the same response, a courteous but unflinching silence. According to royal insiders, Catherine actually spent evenings discussing the offers with her husband, William, Prince of Wales, and next in line to the British throne. She weighed the spotlight against her duty to her family and country. And although she said nothing to Netflix, her decision couldn't be clearer. Her role wasn't about Hollywood glamour, but about service. News travels fast, and royal news even faster. When the public caught wind of the saga through subtle tweets on X, royal fans praised her restraint. They shared their opinions on how Kate wasn't chasing Netflix checks, but was there changing lives. Some said while Meghan was pitching season 2 of a flop, Kate was saying no to millions, and that was class indeed. Royal insiders have suggested Meghan was not particularly thrilled to hear her sister-in-law was being courted by the same platform that once championed her and Harry's post-royal ambitions. To her, it was simply outrageous. While she had lobbied for a revival of her shelved animated series and even pitched new projects to Netflix, Catherine, who didn't show the slightest interest, was offered a grander deal, and she turned it down. It was enough to ignite fury, but more than that, the deal offered by Netflix caused royal fans to draw comparisons between the two, and it seems Meghan fell to the less favorable side. But there are so many famous stars that can bring Netflix what they want, so why do they insist on the Princess of Wales? Why Catherine? The real question should be, why not Kate? The pitch by Netflix was quite bold, and they were relentless in their preparation. Yet, despite their most calculated efforts, the figure deemed to be the most coveted in modern royalty refused to engage them. Not publicly, not privately, in fact, not at all. When Hollywood wants something, it goes for it. But the mistake was thinking Catherine would be an easy target. So while they circled like sharks, sensing opportunity, the Duchess remained calm and unmoved at the center of a storm the palace never acknowledged. Catherine had been in the palace long enough to notice a shift. She watched the world change around her. The monarchy, which was once known for its strict adherence to tradition, no longer lived solely in palaces. These days, it lives on timelines, in headlines, in Netflix trailers. The Sussexes had made sure of that. But visibility and value are not always the same thing, and Catherine knew that. For her, power came from preservation, and not from presence. The very fact that she had never given an exclusive interview, never opened the doors to her private world, never participated in the industry spectacle, made her so irresistible and so untouchable, and that alone made her wanted by the film industry. Who wouldn't want to unwrap an enigma, especially one that is guaranteed to boost profit? To understand why Netflix pinned their hopes on Catherine, there are some things to consider, the numbers that made her their golden ticket. Catherine's public appearances are a masterclass in engagement. Through her work over the past decade, the Princess of Wales has seen firsthand how some of today's hardest social challenges have their roots in the earliest years of a person's life. The princess is committed to raising awareness of the importance of early childhood experiences and of collaborative action in order to improve outcomes across society. In March 2018, the then Duchess of Cambridge was heavily pregnant with her third child, Louis, when she first convened a steering group to examine how children's life chances could be improved by intervening more effectively in their earliest years. By then, she had been a patron of the children's mental health charity, the Anna Freud Center, for 2 years, and worked alongside Prince William on his campaign to destigmatize mental illness. In addition, there's her Shaping Us campaign, which she launched through the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood, launched in 2023, to increase public understanding of the crucial importance of the first 5 years of a child's life. For a long time, the Princess of Wales has continued to spearhead and support a range of mental health programs through the Royal Foundation. Her activities have reached millions globally, and on social media, posts about the initiative racked up thousands of likes, retweets, and heartfelt comments. Netflix was quick to spot the advantage, and the picture was clear. A Catherine-led special could pull in up to 50 million viewers in its first month alone. Contrast that with Meghan and Harry's 15 million views in 2022, and the difference is clear. If Netflix did succeed in charming their way into her heart, and she agrees to the deal, then it won't even be just the viewership any longer. It would have become a revenue avalanche. With potential subscription spikes, analysts projected that a single Kate project would boost Netflix's market value by an astonishing £500 million. Isn't that mind-blowing? If we place that side by side with Meghan's trajectory, which has been a more or less cautionary tale for Netflix, it's easy to see that Meghan's projects didn't just stumble. They fell flat. Their animated series, Pearl, didn't even make it to production before being scrapped out. Although her docuseries were watched, they faced mixed reviews, with ex-users calling it self-serving and disconnected. On the flip side, every move made by Catherine, whether a casual visit to a school or a charity gala, trends in a very organic way, and one would find X hashtags about the princess consistently topping charts. Her authenticity spoke volumes in a way Meghan's polished productions haven't. Royal fans on X often describe her as the people's princess, a title that was only used for Princess Diana, a nod to Kate's ability to connect without chasing the spotlight. Netflix knew they had messed up with the first royal agreement they made and saw Kate as the antidote to their royal missteps, their redemption card. She was their chance to recapture the magic of their early crown days. There are older fans nostalgic for tradition, and younger viewers drawn to modern, empathetic approaches. Netflix believed her story could bridge both generations. But they missed one crucial detail. Catherine's heart lies in service, not screens. And it was that miscalculation that set the stage for her stunning decision. Instead of saying Netflix wanted Catherine, perhaps it's more accurate to say they needed her, particularly for symbolism. Her cooperation would have shifted the tide for them, but what they got was a royal masterclass in silence. Kate neither acknowledged them nor paid any attention to their attempts. Her silence was enough to send the message across that she was not interested. Because if she said yes, everything would change, not only for her, but also for the crown. If she gave in, it would mean she was willing to trade sacred tradition for spectacle and for screens. It was not different from allowing royalty to be packaged, streamed, and shared. And once that door opened, it would be difficult, if not impossible, to close. So she did what she could. She kept it locked. And she did that because she was unapologetically loyal to something far bigger than herself. But her sister-in-law, Meghan Markle, who is on the other end of the royal spectrum, is furious. It feels like betrayal. She was the first royal to establish a relationship with Netflix. But somehow, that's not going well for her. What happened to Meghan's shows? And what do people think of them? The Sussexes' failure with Netflix. We all know about Meghan and Harry's $100 million Netflix deal and how it's now hanging by a thread. The latest show, With Love, Meghan, is not well welcomed, so as it stands, there's not a lot of love for With Love Meghan. Only 24 hours after the show went live on Netflix, verdicts from reviewers and the public came thick and fast. So far, the only positive side to it is that it has received plenty of attention. If we work on the basis that all publicity is good publicity, then Netflix will be delighted with the reaction, because, on the internet at least, this show is a hot topic. However, much of the coverage from news outlets is focused on criticism of the program from commentators or reviewers. And to be honest, the negative reviews themselves are out in force. The response from reviewers for the UK media was scathing. Even the London's newspaper, the Evening Standard, which gave it 4 stars, still ended up mocking it. The Times gave it only 2 stars, describing it as surreally dull. The Daily Telegraph also gave it 2 stars, and according to it, the show is an exercise in narcissism, filled with extravagant brunches, celebrity pals, and business plugs. Then there's the Guardian newspaper, which has long been in favor of abolishing the monarchy and has previously published pieces condemning the treatment of Meghan. This time, it had one of the most critical reviews. It gave the program 1 star and called it toe-curlingly unlovable TV. A different writer suggested it could be the final thing Meghan makes for Netflix, and Hello's TV and film editor outrightly said she was confused by who the program was aimed at. This is meant to be a light-hearted entertainment program. But at the end of the day, who would have thought that seemingly good lifestyle content could spark such an explosion of backlash? This isn't the first time Netflix content from the Duke and Duchess has been panned. The couple's debut docu-series, Harry and Meghan, in which they spoke about their struggles with royal life, remains the platform's most watched debut. However, their other programming, such as Heart of Invictus and Polo, haven't fared as well. They were met with a frosty critical response. But with Love, Meghan, originally billed as a fresh, approachable look into the couple's California lifestyle, has proven even less resonant. While the sentiment may be genuine, it failed to move the needle. For many viewers, with Love, Meghan is yet another reminder of the growing divide between Meghan's carefully crafted public image and what audiences are actually looking for in lifestyle content. Despite the Netflix budget and famous friends, the show has struggled to find its footing and its audience. According to Fox News, experts recently said the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's 5-year $100 million Netflix deal will likely expire in September this year. While Season 2 of With Love, Meghan has already been filmed and is scheduled to premiere this fall, the possibility of a 3rd season remains unknown. Ian Pelham-Turner, a royal expert, explained that the loss of the Netflix deal will be a major blow for the couple and could incentivize them to move back to the UK, as has been a rumored consideration recently. As the dust settles, the question now is whether the Duchess can pivot or whether, with Love, Meghan is a turning point in the Sussexes' shrinking media relevance. In the midst of it all, her strained relationship with Kate remains unshaken. The sisters-in-law have been in a long-standing feud since 2018, and this looks like a good opportunity to mend their broken relationship. Meghan herself told news outlets that she's open to what the future has in store for her, both personally and professionally. The question is, what does the future have for her? Meghan's campaign. For years, Meghan and Kate have been portrayed as opposite ends of the royal spectrum. Meghan, the outsider who embraced the spotlight. Catherine, the steady hand who embodied duty and restraint. The Meghan Markle versus Kate Middleton feud has been raging, and the question of when exactly the beef began is a matter of widespread debate. Some say the dueling duchesses disliked one another from day one. Others say the war began when the combatants clashed over preparations for Meghan's wedding. Whatever the case, a new poll indicates that when it comes to popularity in the UK, Meghan is no contest for Kate. While Catherine remained silent, the same cannot be said for Meghan. Multiple sources close to Hollywood insiders claim Meghan Markle made repeated attempts to reach out to Catherine, not just directly, but through an intricate web of mutual contacts, industry allies, and long-forgotten royal acquaintances. The effort, described by one executive as quietly relentless, began shortly after Netflix finalized its pitch. Catherine hadn't responded, but Meghan wasn't giving up. She knew the stakes. Netflix was watching. Her own deal with the platform, reportedly under pressure to produce fresh exclusive content, added a layer of urgency. Catherine's involvement would have not only revived Meghan's media capital, it would have reshaped the brand that Meghan had spent years building post-royal exit. Those close to the situation say Meghan didn't just pitch a project. She made personal appeals, references to shared experiences, a desire to bridge the gap, even subtle, emotional nudges to remind Catherine of the bond they once tried to build. But every message met the same fate: a Stonewall by Kensington Palace. According to aides, the palace followed standard operating procedure. All unofficial communication is filtered. Unsolicited proposals are noted and set aside, especially when they come from sources considered sensitive. As for Harry, some believe he played a quiet part in the campaign. Others suggest his involvement was more hesitant, torn between loyalty to his wife and the looming reality of deepening the divide with his brother. Either way, the calls were made, but the line from Kensington stayed cold. Sources say that Meghan is in talks with Netflix for a renewal of their agreement. As of now, her future is indecisive. While Meghan continues her attempts to build her media empire and Hollywood circles the palace like a glittering storm, Catherine stands unmoved. Her own brand remains rooted in restraint and has never been stronger. And the irony is that her rejection didn't shrink her influence. Instead, it multiplied it. What do you think about Kate's decision? And does Meghan have any chance to win back her influence in the media? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.